I want to thank our sponsors who help each week put out the content for these podcasts as we invite different people from throughout the community to tell their story. So sincerely, Soul Source Restoration. Check them out, soulsourcerestoration.com. If you ever have an issue with water damage, mold, fire damage, they're there to help. It's a local Cranston company that's supporting not only this podcast, but people every day throughout the community. Check them out. Thank you for our sponsor. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Park Podcast here at the Historic Park Theater and Event Center. Today's guest, one of the most humble musicians. He's traveled the world. He's one of the kindest guys I know. He has electric energy. Steve Smith from Steve Smith and the Nakeds.
Thanks, Ed. 50 years, can you imagine?
50 years. How does
Where were you 50 years ago?
50 years. Oh, man, I was negative 11. Negative 11.
Wow.
How does that make you feel, Steve?
It's unbelievable. It's just been a great run. To think I'd be doing this for 50 years is like amazing. But they always had a great bunch of guys behind me, always focused on the music and having a good time, and it's just keeps rolling on. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
50 years, I mean, I can tell you, just post-pandemic now, right? It's been a tough couple of years, and you probably went from doing hundreds of shows a year to, how did that make you feel?
Oh, my God. Oh, you know me, I can't sit still for a minute, and the year of COVID would have been my 50th New Year's Eve in a row, and would have been the band's 47th New Year's Eve in a row, because I was in a band before the Nakeds, and our streak got stopped at 49.
Ugh.
And we came back the year after and started all over again. But I was hoping to keep that streak going over the years, but unfortunately, COVID, we didn't work for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. You know?
I mean, as a creator, I mean, I know that I was going a little crazy of not playing, because I, like yourself, I need the energy of others. I see your performances. You're jumping up on the bar at the Thirsty Beaver. Everywhere you go, you're really kind of driving that energy up of everybody. Right. And that is what live shows are, right? That's live production. What is the energy like on a stage when you're up there?
There's nothing like live show, and the thing about it is the Nakeds have always played for the crowd, get the crowd involved. Make it a fun night for everyone, not just me, all about me.
Sure.
And we're a bar band. We grew up in an era where there were 1 million bars, and to see a concert band and a bar band is totally different.
Sure.
I mean, you could be playing in a room with 50 people, or you could be playing in a room with 400 people.
And again, the same show either way.
But the Nakeds are the A show, no matter where we are.
Yep.
It's all relevant. I mean, people pay to get in to see the band, whether they pay $2, $3, or $50. They came to see a show,
Yep.
and that's what we do.
Yep. I love that.
And it's so great, that we could do it for this long, and thank God, that we have our health.
Sure.
The COVID thing was very limited in the band at the time. During COVID, we couldn't even rehearse because the band's 11 pieces.
Sure.
So we ended up going into a factory and spreading 10 feet apart, set up and we haven't rehearsed in 50 years. So during the COVID, we rehearsed.
Yeah.
And it made us better, I think. I'm not sure.
That's what's up. Yeah, we've done a smaller, intimate show here already, and it was a dinner show.
Yep.
And to see the response from the crowd, just from that, I'm very excited for February 11th.
Yeah, February 11th is going to be great. And that was fun doing it that night. It was unfortunate that our Legends show got canceled in October.
Sure.
But you've had your crosses to bear too.
Sure. I would say that the 90 days that we had to navigate through post-flood here were definitely the toughest days of my life. And
just when you thought COVID was over.
Sure.
And we keep getting knocked down, but we keep getting back up.
That's it.
That's what it's all about.
And I think that is probably the biggest takeaway for the last 3 years. You've lived through a lot. You've lived through 2008. You've lived through so many different highs and lows of life. But for me, this was by far the toughest time of my life, professionally, emotionally, physically, and I think a lot of people in the world.
What people forget is 9/11.
Sure.
We were leaving for Las Vegas on the 13th, and that shut everything down for a year.
Sure.
We still performed, here, but we didn't go back to Las Vegas until 2 years later, you know, because it just shut the whole country down.
Sure.
You know, but yeah, we've seen a lot.
Sure,
you
sure.
know.
What are some of the best memories that you have over the course of 50 years leading you up to the show? That come back to
Having my kids.
Yeah.
And you just had a son.
I did, yeah.
That's a memorable thing. But
What a different perspective, huh?
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I've learned a lot in just a short 3 months
Short period of
about
time.
myself, about my wife,
Yep.
about sleeping, you know, but most importantly about the beauty of life and how you really want to spend time. Yeah,
The other very, very, you know, like I have guys that, well, my trumpet player has been with me for 50 years. His brother has been in and out of the band for 50 years, but right now we have 3 of the original members in the band, and our keyboard player that hired all 3 of us left the band in 1975, and every time I changed the keyboard player, I would ask him to come back. He came back 23 years ago, and he just retired. So at one point we had a nucleus of 5 of us.
Wow.
From the original band. But the other big thing was touring with Clarence Clemons,
Yeah.
who was a personal friend, and I like to say that, you know, we were the girlfriend that nobody ever wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We toured with Clarence when he wasn't on the world stage
Yeah.
with Bruce Springsteen. He would end a tour, get down off the world stage, get in a bus with 12 sweaty old men, and go back to the bars.
How cool is that?
Because he loved the bars.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where we got our roots. That's where we paid our dues.
Yeah.
You're traveling up and down the East Coast in an old station wagon, you know, playing in all these bars along the Jersey Shore, Florida,
Yeah.
everywhere, you know, and that's how you had to make your bones
Yeah.
back then.
We've spoke on this previously about just like being a humble person, being kind throughout the
my
process,
God,
and what opportunity that leads to later on in life.
Right.
I know we spoke on, you just did New Year's Eve in St. Lucia.
Right, St.
and
Lucia.
The whole band was
There's a
flown up.
payback.
And how did you get that gig? Do you mind sharing to the guests?
For 8 years in late 70s, early 80s, we used to do Johnson & Wales College, university now, but we used to do their spring break at Rocky Point. And
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Rocky Point I wish we could bring back.
Oh,
right?
my God,
I
yeah.
love Rocky Point.
my wedding was at the Palladium at
Wow.
Rocky Point.
Wow.
But they used to have a spring break. The whole school would go to Rocky Point for the whole weekend, and we would play on Saturday, the last band to be playing. We got a core of students 8 years of students that started following the band when they were freshmen, and they got handed down. The baton got handed down as the the seniors graduated. It was the next class, the next class, the next class. So no matter where we go, anywhere, we always run into a Johnson & Wales student, whether it be behind the desk at a Marriott or the chef of the Marriott and this or you know, and we have friends now that have been friends of ours since that time. My kids even call my friend, it's Steve Mulvey, we call him Uncle Pugsley. He's been such a part of my family since that time period that my kids call him Uncle Pugsley.
Love that.
You know, and but the general manager of Coconut Bay Resort was one of those students.
Wow.
So now he's the general manager of this beautiful resort in St. Lucia, and he called me and said, "What are the chances
Yeah.
of having you guys come down and perform?" And it was like, "Tell me where I gotta
Yeah.
be and when you want me there."
Amazing.
So we got signed for 3 years of New Year's Eve. So we got 2 more to go.
Incredible.
It's great, and a bunch of our fans came with us, you know, and we're going to be signing up again for next year. I want to get people to sign up early because this New Year's Eve was sold out by March.
Wow.
So get on board for
Yeah,
next
I like
year.
that. I like that.
You know.
And, you know, I remember meeting you one of the first times that we've worked together at one of our bars, and
Right.
again, just getting back to just what a kind person you are. I mean, obviously you're an incredible entertainer, and we love the energy that you bring to the bars and to the shows that you do. But more so, that kindness, that empathetic way that you react to every situation, even a flood, and no problem, just rescheduling.
Yep.
We work with a lot of talent now, Steve,
Yeah.
and throughout the last decade.
You're going to deal with a lot. It's
Yeah,
more
and you
too,
see a
and
lot, right?
it's
You see
tough.
some divas, and you see some people that are that, and you know, I don't mean to make you blush,
No,
but you're
I
a great
mean,
guy to work with. So
the thing about it is everybody has their job, everybody has a talent, and fortunate for me, God gave me the gift of my voice, and luckily I'm still able to do it. But you know, people try to get political with me, and it's not my job to be political. It's my job at the end of the day, when you come out to have dinner with your wife or your girlfriend, to entertain you and get you away from all of that.
Sure.
You know, and so many times I've been on radio talk shows where they want me to get political, and first of all, the first thing I say politically, I lose half my audience.
Sure, of course.
You know, it's not my job.
Sure.
You know, who cares what I think?
Sure,
you know.
Sure. Yeah.
And the funny thing about Clarence was that he's the same. He was the same way.
Yeah.
He just loves to play. And when he passed, I went to the funeral, and I was sitting with Bruce, and I said, "I'd like to thank you for sharing Clarence with me." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, like I just said, he would go on a world tour with you doing stadium shows, and then he'd come home and travel with me.
Incredible.
You know, playing little bars, you know, back to the bar scene." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Clarence loved to play, you know." And Bruce said, "When I get off the road, I want to lay down and recharge my batteries. Clarence just wants to get back out there."
Yeah.
And you know, I had more fun hanging with him than going to the show. Like when the E Street Band got back together, we toured with him for like 7 years while the E Street Band was not doing anything. And when they got back together, I would go to the shows. He'd say, "I'll leave you, you know, comp tickets and that." And I said, "You know what?" I said, "I'd rather just go out to have lunch."
Sure.
You know, it's just too much of a circus behind the stage.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get to see them.
Yeah.
You know, you think you're privileged because you're backstage, but we would have more fun. Like, "I'll meet you for lunch, and then I'll go to sound check."
Yeah, of
you
course.
know,
Absolutely.
and he was like you and me, very humble, a gentle giant, and we miss him so much. You know, we were doing 20 to 30 shows a year with him, and nobody realizes that Bruce never came and sat in with us. There was one night when he was supposed to, but the people that promoted the show exploited Clarence and him. And I was on the bus with him when he called Bruce and told him not to come. And I was like, "No!"
Yeah.
But, you know, it doesn't make any difference. He was just a phenomenal person, you know,
Yeah.
and a friend. You know, we miss him.
Yeah.
And there's a few guys that have passed that, especially TJ, my sax player for 36 years. And, you know, you still look over there and you still see them,
Sure.
you know, every night
Sure.
you play. And it's just amazing. You know me, I have a policy of never burning a bridge.
Of course.
No matter how bad someone treats you, you never know when you're going to see them again.
Yeah. Amen.
You know,
Amen.
and that's what we do, you know. I've had guys that have quit the band that I've asked to come back and sub
Yeah.
and help me out, and they all come back willingly and enjoy it, you know. I've also had guys try to have me fire them because they didn't want to be in the band anymore.
Yeah.
And I would say to them, "Hey, I'm not firing you.
Sure.
You're an asset to this project.
Yeah.
You're an asset to this unit. If you want to quit, you
Yeah.
quit. But I'm not going to fire you, you know."
And there's an
So-
element of that, right, of keeping a band together and being
Stuff.
that connector.
I've only fired 2 people in 50 years.
Yeah.
And I don't want to tell you the reasons why, but, you know, there's no need. I mean, if you want to go, you go,
Yeah.
you know. If something's working,
Sure.
you don't change it.
Sure.
You know?
There can't be anything like the bond of when the sound engineers aligned, right, and when the lights
Yeah.
are flying and you're just hearing the keyboards playing
Oh,
or whatever it be, and then it just all aligns for that song, right,
Yeah.
for that perfect moment where you leave a song and you go, "Wow, that was harmonious." amongst all of
There
us,
are
right?
some songs we play now where I have such a tight unit that I'm standing there, I'm going, "Holy mackerel, this is unbelievable," you know. And we've got some young guys in the band. They're in their 30s.
Okay. Yeah.
But there was a period of time where it brought, you know, we were kind of like not sliding, but the energy wasn't there, and it was always me pulling the energy. And now with the younger guys in the band, they've created a new spark and a new it brings it up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But it's still amazing to, like you said, it's always the A show. You know, every once in a while you got one of those nights where nobody's there,
Sure.
but the band is still smoking.
Yeah.
You know, and
Sometimes those are the funnest nights, right? When
oh yeah,
You're just vibing with each other.
You know, and like they'll have people come up to you and say, "Wow," he goes, "There's nobody here."
Yeah.
You know, you could mail it in.
Yeah.
Never, we never mail it in.
I had a friend who's made out pretty good in life, and he's became pretty high profile. But he did a sold out show here in Rhode Island, and then there was a snowstorm, and there was probably 8 people up in New Hampshire, and that show was just as good as as of the 1,000.
I mean, people paid to get in. They paid their money.
Yeah.
You know, so the band is always focused on the music. You know, you go through periods of drinking when you're younger. You go through periods of. We went through the cocaine era, which was the worst possible era of all time. It was socially accepted.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing it, and I can swear on a stack of Bibles, I never put an ounce of that stuff in my nose, because that's not what we're there for.
Me neither. I can say that too. Yeah.
And that's not what we're there for.
Yeah, of course.
You know, we're not there for that. We're there to entertain. The focus has always been the music, and we always deal with it that way. And that was a real tough time. We lost people.
Sure.
You know, people didn't recover from that period. Some people did, a lot of people did, but you know, and things keep happening to us that keep us, you know, like every time I think, okay, it's over,
Yeah.
all of a sudden,
The universe brings you right back together.
all of a sudden, one of our songs gets picked up by Family Guy,
Yeah.
you know, and now we're back,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and then a few years later,
Which must have felt cool.
oh, it was great, you know, fantastic. A few years later, we got a call from Peter Farrelly. They put one of our songs in Dumb and Dumber 2,
Yeah.
you know, and that brings us, here we come again.
Sure.
And just recently, one of our songs was put in the greatest beer run ever, which is now streaming on Apple TV, came out in September. And it's so cool to watch a movie and see one of your songs.
Absolutely.
One of your songs, you
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Absolutely.
So we just keep plugging along, keep playing, and you know, and my old, you know, they always break me up about it, but it's you know, my motto is, the people go, how long are you going to do this? And I said, till when the phone stops ringing.
Amen.
And the phone's still ringing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's we're very lucky.
Yeah.
Very, very, really lucky. And I'm lucky to be surrounded with a bunch of guys that have the same attitude and the same desires that I have.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
a couple times so far in this discussion, we've talked about loss, and I was at
Oh yeah.
a wake earlier today, and to see, you know, there's so much going on in our minds on a day-to-day basis, and there's so many things that we think are important, or struggles, or trials, or tribulations, but when we're actually in the presence of others around us that we love and we lose someone,
Right.
it kind of puts us all back down and realize the importance of time and who we're spending it with and who we're collaborating with and who we're creating with and
Yep.
the magic that we're making.
Lisa Marie
Sure.
today,
Today.
yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like, what?
She performed here. Did you know that?
Wow, no.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I saw they posted about it earlier. But
Wow.
icon, you know.
Unbelievable
Yeah.
that she's gone.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of those people don't keep their focus on the music.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's tragic. Some of these, like Prince and Michael Jackson and Elvis.
Sure.
It's tragic. You know, I always used to say, I don't have to be the next Elvis. You know, I don't want to be the next Elvis, if that's what it means.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
but to see someone smiling in the front row at a table at a club, you know, or just dancing, you know, we like people to dance, you know, and get up and have a good time. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Well, they'll be up in their seats for this up and coming show.
Yeah,
you put together a great card. Can we talk on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
The Cowsills are incredible. I've been doing research. It was a
Yeah.
little
Oh,
before my time, but
you had a
just
lesson.
I did have a lesson. I've been learning on what they've accomplished throughout their
The
career.
Cowsills were from Newport, Rhode Island, and they were 60s. And what's amazing about them is that They were on, back in our day, Ed Sullivan was it. They were on Ed Sullivan 7 times. They had 5 Christmas specials. They had 5, I think, #1 hits. And they're from Rhode Island, you know. And they were inducted into the Rhode Island Music Hall of Fame the same day as we were.
Awesome.
And we got to meet them then. They were supposed to be on our Legends show in October, but that got canceled. So we decided to have them, join us for our 50th.
Awesome.
So they're gonna be here that night. My brother Danny, who is 8 years younger than me, and I taught him everything he knows.
Amen.
But he's a co-producer and writer for Family Guy, and he was kind of instrumental in getting us into that groove, you know.
Yeah.
But I asked him to come and MC the show, and he said absolutely he'll be there that night. He's got numerous accolades, numerous things that he's done. You know, he's written movies. He's acted in movies. He's helped punch up movies. He's written Family Guy. He's been on 7 TV shows, and he's a guy from Rhode Island.
Love it.
You know,
Creative family.
very creative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My father and mother, they blessed us with talent.
Amen.
You know,
Yeah.
they blessed us with talent, and it's, you know, we were always taught that you have to share what you have with others. You know, I grew up in a family of 6 kids, and you have to share. You know, you have to share
Sure.
what you have with others. You know, and nobody in our family, everybody has their own talent.
Yeah.
You know, and luckily for me, I have a voice, and I thank God every day for that, and I thank my parents for my values.
Yeah.
You know,
50 years later, you're still doing what you love, and you're
Yep.
doing it with
Yep.
your family and those around you.
and I did it. I did it through college. I was in another band in college, and that was my part-time job in college.
Yeah.
You know, and then I got in the Nakeds my senior year, which is also my 50th graduation. I graduated from Providence College 50 years ago.
Wow.
And
I just had my 20-year high school. That brings back so many different
Yeah.
emotions and memories.
Oh, my
and
God, yeah.
Right? You're starting to think about
high
things.
school is different though. I went to college to play hockey, you know, and because of the monetary situation, I couldn't continue with my hockey career. But when I got in the band, that was, you know, I was going to school, going to practice, going to study, and flunking.
Mm.
So I had to leave the team, and I got asked back every year to play, but I couldn't. So when I was working 40 hours a week after school.
Yeah.
When I got in the band, I was working Friday and Saturday night and making 5
Sure.
times the amount of money.
Sure.
So that's how it all
New
started.
direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
It
Full
was
circle.
cool. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to the show. Anything else you want to talk to about the guests?
Yeah, I want everybody to come and enjoy the evening.
Thank you to our sponsors, Narragansett Beer, who's
yep,
been with you for.
In 2005, Narragansett Beer came back to Rhode Island, and I approached them because we always drank Narragansett Beer, and asked Mark Hellendorn if we could be the official band of Narragansett Beer. And he said, yeah, what do I got to do? I said, give me beer.
Yeah.
And T-shirts and hats.
Easy enough, right? Yeah.
Give me beer to drink at night, and I'll promote your beer,
Yeah.
and I'll give away T-shirts, hats, and whatever you want me to do.
Yeah.
And we've been doing that since 2005. So they're stepping up and helping us promote this show. So my good friends at Narragansett
And
my
Picasso Pizza, I love that.
yeah, my other good friend Ray Brooks at Picasso's Pizza. If
If you haven't tried Picasso Pizza, you got to try
oh
it.
my God,
It's incredible.
unbelievable. The wings,
Yeah.
forget it. But he's been a friend of mine for years too, and I did some advertising on the side while my kids were growing, and he was one of my clients. And all I had to do was ask him, "Can you help me promote the show?" And he said, "Absolutely. What do you need?"
Yeah.
You know, so Picasso Pizza and Beer.
Yep. Yep.
And what's better than that, right? Pizza and beer.
And Mayor Hopkins here in Cranston's very excited.
Yep.
And
The mayor's helped out. The Rhode Island Music Hall of Fame, we're going to try to collect some money for them that night. We're trying to get on board and raise money for the Hall of Fame, which took a hit during COVID, just like
Sure.
everything else.
Sure.
And they've been very good to us too, the Hall of Fame. We're very proud to be members.
Got to
of
keep
that.
music alive. Got to keep
Gotta
arts alive.
Got to keep the music alive. You got to have fun. and just move forward. Always move forward.
Yeah.
You know, always move forward.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's keep moving forward, Steve. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
It's going to be a great night.
Amen. I'm looking
Get
forward
your
to it.
tickets because it's going to sell out.
Yeah, we're selling a lot already. So,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for checking out another episode of the Park Podcast. Appreciate having Steve Smith, very humble musician. Can't wait for the 50th anniversary show.
I can't wait.
And honestly, we're honored for you to be able to.
I want to
do
say
it.
one thing before we
Yeah,
go.
of course.
I am so happy and proud of you guys for taking on this monster of a venue. You know, I know Jeff too. I play hockey with him, and this is incredible what you've done here. And we want everybody to come to every show they have here, so we can keep this. This is another historic place, another key thing we can't let die. The Park Theater.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it, sir.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Keep moving forward.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Onward and upward.
Onward and upward. Yep. Thank you all.